Has anybody at this table within their strategic planning meetings put in any thought lately about altering their fee schedule?
Only thought about it because I've read articles saying that the percentage of assets model is going to go away.
Right.
Yeah, I think the clients, the AUM model, psychologically, the clients relate to that.
We're creating problems for ourselves.
We are.
Well, elaborate on that for a second. Just
Yeah,
real
we're
quick.
fretting about fees and performance when that's because your service blows. People
it's like
will pay
Nordstrom's.
for it if it's a good experience.
Are fees going to be the same as they are today in 5 years in y'all's mind? And if they're not, then how are you going to ensure that you keep the same profit margins that we have right now? Because we have great profit margins. How do we keep those in an arena where we're going to have to start changing fees or start talking about fees because of the robo-advisors bringing them up?
It's kind of simple. Sell something of value. Provide something of value. If you're going to buy the S&P 500 index fund, you're providing part of the planning value maybe, but not on the investing value. And so some models may have to change. Some people might say, I'll charge you $300 an hour for financial planning or 80 bips for financial planning, but I'm going to put you in robo. But you brought value. You have to define what your value proposition is, bring it to the table, and then you can charge for it.
Do y'all tell your clients at the end of the year what value you brought to them every year?
Yeah.
How so? Because I've heard about this from multiple people now.
There's two ways to do it. One is simple math, but the best way is to say, remember that spreadsheet we did for you last year where it says you'll have money to your 103? We checked off the first row, but we are satisfying your financial plan.
There are many people who are in this business who are not
Qualified.
professional investors.
Right.
Yeah.
They are not managers. They're not very good at it.
Yep.
And the reality is they know they're not very good at it, but they need it. Without it, they cannot make a living. So one of the problems is, which is transcends all industries or service industries, that when you feel insecure, when you don't know what your value is, you pile on more stuff to give away. And we are on that train. We're on that train because not because we are insecure, it's just that our competition is providing more.
Well, they'll
So
say,
we
I
have to
can
start-
buy a robo and pay a lot less
Right. So,
without looking at the numbers.
so the only way to solve it is either you're going to stand up and say, no, not with my clients, or I'm not. That's one way. That's probably easy, but most difficult because you are insecure about losing your clients at the end. Number two is to be as productive as you can, which is including technology.
So it comes down to what is the product you're selling. I don't mean to pick everybody. If it's pure returns, is it organization, is it management, is it, as I say, I might have said already, we're part shrink and part clergy to clients. So we want that relationship where we can actually bring value to the table. If they just want hot stocks, we're not your guys.
Yeah. And we're not proposing to beat the market. for
Right,
these
no,
products.
what's wrong, I say
We're
every day,
proposing
what's
to
wrong
do-
with performing in
We're proposing to
market?
do planning for them, and if that works out, then we try to reach their goals.
But when you do that planning, and part of the goal is to have a certain outcome,
Yeah.
a robo tool, not to replace the advisor doing rebalancing, or an ETF that provides that, then it's a tool. I don't think it is a replacement. Now, the whole demographics are a whole other issue, I don't know.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I mean, to piggyback off what Matt said before, I mean, full disclosure, everyone, my wife and I are 33 years old. We're at the early stage of this millennial period here. We both have great careers, and I've been in this industry for 12 years now. Literally 3 months ago, we finally hired our first financial advisor. And the reason is we have 2 kids now, this life-altering moment where, okay, am I really budgeting and saving enough, and what's going to be the long-term plan? So the 1% fee that my advisor was charging me was absolutely, it wasn't even an afterthought.
We would
just
do it for 90 bips.
I'll give you a call later. But it's regardless of what any technological platform you have, it's just more of that personal touch there at the end of the day.
So to answer your point about what did Robos do or what did they take, I don't know if we'd be having this conversation if it wasn't for them.
So to the advisors like in the room, has there been a time where a client's come to you and said, why am I paying you when I could just have a robo-advisor? Has that actually started to like occur yet in your guys' fields or for your clients?
Well, we do full financial planning in our firm, so the clients don't, the client, $8 million client recently bought a vacation home in Colorado. Well, how do we handle that? Well, you need to put it in trust is what we advise. So we do that kind of advice. They're not going to get that elsewhere.
I've got two thoughts on the fees. Ultimately it comes back with having the relationship with the client.
Yep.
Always. And having a robo to interact with on a screen, you don't have that relationship with the client. And that's why you've seen the fee compression on the asset management industry, more so because those are commoditized products. They're nationally exchanged, right? But you haven't really seen the RIA expand outside of your geographical footprint, because people want to go into a meeting, they want to meet with their advisor, they want to discuss their kids and grandkids, and they want to show you pictures.
No robo can ever do that.
No robo can ever do that.
That's what your product is.
And also, that's why it's who blinks first. You haven't seen a fee compression because, well, if I charge one, you're going to 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 charge one. You're going to charge 0.8? I've got 20 bits of margin, I'll charge 0.8, and then the whole, but you haven't had that need because you haven't had a nationally commoditized product yet.
Fair.
Again, and I've said it 100 times, it comes down to what is it you're bringing to the table. I have a 90-year-old client who the value is that I answer her phone calls every day and just check on her.
But if you actually, and yet we have to be better at showing our value day in and day out. That's outside
No,
of
but
that.
let's think about this. It goes back to our fiduciary duty
Sure.
as an RIA to handle the trust of the client. We've got two trademark slogans, so you can't take me, but if I do say them right now. Trust matters, and the best interest of the client is the only interest that matters. And if you get those two things right, the client's going to pay for it, and you can charge your 1% or 50 bips or $50 for the grandkids.
And sometimes they just want to know you're there, so when that question does come up, they can call you, and you help them resolve whatever issue that there might be.
It's interesting to hear all the colleagues thinking about how they're justifying their fees. They're justifying their fee by everything except investing.
Yes.
Fascinating. And that was my original question. That we are not ready to divorce the two parts because we don't know how to deal with it.